Okay, it's been a while since I've put up a sketchbook tour. So going back a little bit, end of last year. This is a, I think this is a Strathmore. Yeah, it's a Strathmore. So a soft cover, which I like, and toned paper, which is nice. It does get pretty dinged up over the course of time, and it does swell, but you know the bindings stayed together, so all is well. I'm not precious about these books. They travel with me all through the months that I'm using them. For this, in this case, what's that? 5 months. So they're filled really with exploration, with day-to-day life, with in this case some New Masters Academy classes that I was doing, just refresher courses on drawing, and so lots of scribbles and trials, just notes to remind myself on things, and some gouache experiments, working alongside Steve Houston's a really great artist. There's some really nice content on keeping a sketchbook and using gouache. So these are some of the little studies that he was doing, and so I sort of followed along. And gouache is really quite nice on this toned paper. It sits up on the surface a little bit more than the watercolour. I think it, and it's just a lovely, it's a lovely muted sort of a palette. It's not high key. It's kind of all back a little bit with the push back a little bit with the grey underneath. So yeah, really lovely. Then moved on to some Vilpo. He's such a master. Just watching how he draws, doing a little bit of a study of a fashion. Yeah, so this sketchbook is a lot about reacquainting myself with some of the drawing techniques that I love. This is a picnic. Oh no, this is when we went to the park. Toss took her camera and I took my sketchbook, and we wandered around the little animal enclosure there in the zoo. There was no polar bear at the zoo though. That's a copy of a Gregory Manchess. It's a really beautiful book, Above the Timberline. Another great illustrator. So the idea of just putting life and thoughts and studies and practice and crazy stuffed pheasants into my sketchbook is really pretty much what it's about. It's a chance to play and to try things and think about things. This was a great film clip. This old gentleman dancing. It was really great. Love that. So yes, I'll just whip through because there's a fair bit here. There's lots of notes about things I'm thinking about. Some more bird studies with Vilpo. Really great course on animal anatomy, getting a handle on how it all goes together. And you know, I take my book with me, so there's always people to sketch. Friends, there's always family around. So that's a recurring theme. This was a weekend away with some artist friends, which was great. We went to Villa Rustica, and there were 4 of us and the hosts in this beautiful home, and we just potted around for 3 days doing our thing. Carolyn was drawing, I was just scribbling, Sky was painting. We had 2 gorgeous dogs visiting us, Roger and Rafa. And we had lots of nice conversations around the table, drinks, and it was just a beautiful place with lots of things to be responding to. Kathy was doing some projections in the small rooms, and it was just all in all a fantastic weekend of art and making and conversation and dogs. And then from there I went to Stanthorpe with the family, and this was great fun. It's always beautiful being out at Stanthorpe. And we were sorting through Oma and Opa's photos, so thousands and thousands of photos. I found one of me and my horse. So good times to sit in the bush and be doing some drawing, and then started scribbling some ideas around what I could be doing with some of these photos, and that's come into another sketchbook. Family members doing what family members do. It's nice to just sit around and have those idle conversations. It's not very often we get to do this, so. And we did a bit of printmaking. Quite nice. But then I was given one of these by students at my workshop, and this is a Daler Rowney cachette. Cachet? I'm not sure. But it's it's a little worse for wear now because I carried it around for a few months. It's starting to come adrift a little bit, but surprisingly, considering how many pages and how lightweight the paper is, it held up really well to pretty much anything I threw at it. So a little bit of gouache, didn't buckle, it didn't bleed through to the other side, which is good. So it's taking pen and ink okay, it's taking the gouache fine. It's I put masking tape down around things so that I could mask off, and that came off without tearing the paper. So all in all, and I really quite like this warmer tone as well. So yes, this one is quite a nice paper to use. So World Science Festival, just a few impressions of what was going on there. Sustainability and art and design talks. So it's always a good opportunity to draw people when they're sitting presenting, and lots of interesting conversations and thoughts and concepts. That was a beautiful song, Lindsay Pollock. Always love his music, it's so quirky. And then it was, that was my turn to be up on the podium, and so the only way I can deal with nerves is to draw. So I was on a panel and drawing the other panelists, and Carrie, who was moderating, and the audience. So that's Ali's hand. But yes, so the book is, I'll get through it fairly fast because there's a fair bit in this. It takes the ink really well, and it's nice having a mid-tone to work off. Some little sketches, life drawing studies for work, commissions, ideas. I think that was a sculptural work that I was looking at, just sketchy people, going out for a day with the kids, little thumbnails. Oftentimes I don't have time to do a full-on, big spread, and these books are not about that. This is just about capturing what's going on at the moment, keeping myself amused, keeping my hand in, drawing and observing. Train travel is great for that because everyone's looking down at their phones. But sometimes I'll take a bit more time, and this is a sketchy muse gentleman. He's got a great beard. So ideas for a mural that ended up doing at Ellengrove. So these are sort of sketchy designs for that. I was really happy with this. This was white. It's an off-white. Looks like a cream acrylic gouache. So it's gouache, but once it goes on, it sets, and so it won't reanimate with water. And then I put a little bit of watercolor over that, and and then, or I did the pencil drawing and then a little bit of watercolour. So that's an oil pencil. And it just felt really nice over the top of this slightly chalky background. It's chalkier and got a little bit more matte than the paper. Biro. Mike came to visit. That's nice. That's my bro. And when Mika was painting in the St. Paul's Church, and we were sitting, family members sitting, listening to Mika and Lorraine doing some painting, accompanied by the brass band. It was great fun. Vignettes in the quarry. Ephemeral art making. People on a random lady on the train. Quotes that I think, sometimes I write the same quotes in several books because I think that they're really good quotes, and that one's a cracker. This is I think that's a yellowtail black cockatoo taxidermy mount. So all of these, this is sketches up at Hampton's up in Toowoomba. I was doing a day, I was doing some judging of an art competition and a day on a workshop, sort of a demonstration thing for USQ. So in between, when I had a break, I'd go and draw the crowds. And there were a lot of crowds. Artist Talk by Abdul, that was great. A visit to Hodder. More randoms on the train. Peoples. Lord, pilot me. And lots of trees. I often draw trees. Calming things, trees. Oh, this was UAP. Stories of Failure. That was a great night, listening to people's different artists and people from arts community talking about not so much their successes but their failures. Another little assemblage. And then we went up to Lake Catharaba. That was so nice. Spiritual home. And to sit by the lake and feel the sun and draw snoozing pelicans and paperbark trees. It's very, very therapeutic. Just listening to the lake. Just that gentle lap and drawing while I was doing it. So good. Need more of those days away. Dogs. Beautiful cell. Markets. Quarry. Random birds. Random people. This was up in McGregor in the trying to draw ducks. Oh, did like all of their little tails sticking up in the air. Some tutors at the winter school. Getting my jab. Noel and I stood in line. It was a really great service. So we went to Rockley and they got us all through very quickly, very efficiently. So we've had both our jabs now. This is, I think, back up at, this is the Budrum Everyday Sketchbook Workshop. Just doing a little demo of what a little sketch into the forest could look like. There's fellow students sketching away. And this was James and Ali. We were helping finish the labyrinth, so labouring on. So that was lovely, a whole day of just watching people. I was probably not doing as much work as I should have, but it was great fun to watch everyone helping out, many hands. And Ollie, Benny, I should say, the site manager. So nice. So yes, that's that book. So I'm already on to my next one, but I'll keep that for another time because it's not finished. But thanks for joining me.